initiative. Earlier today, the Nebraska women's basketball team was in action for the second round of the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis, where they secured a 64-56 win over 12-seed Purdue. After the game, head coach Amy Williams had this to say.
Yeah, I'm just really proud of our team for surviving and advancing, and we're excited to have the opportunity to continue to play tomorrow in the quarters. It was a little ugly game. We give a lot of credit to Purdue. We've played them for 3 times now, and we know that they are a very scrappy team that is going to make everything very, very difficult, and I thought they did a great job of that here today on their second day of playing already, and we were able to make some plays at the right moments to be able to create the separation we needed to get a win.
With the win, Nebraska advances to the quarterfinal and will match up with 4-seed Michigan State tomorrow at approximately 2 p.m. Central. Coming up on the show, we'll hear more from Coach Williams at the post-game press conference, as well as a chat with play-by-play commentator Matt Coatney. Keeping with Big Ten women's hoops, 6 other teams are in action today. Earlier, 8-seed Maryland advanced with a 75-65 win over 9-seed Illinois. Currently in action, 7-seed Penn State leads 10-seed Wisconsin 33-24 midway through the second quarter. And later tonight, 6-seed Michigan will battle 11-seed Minnesota. As the men's Big Ten regular season winds down, 2 teams are in action tonight. Rutgers visits Wisconsin with a tip-off that's just about to get going. And finally, after 3 weeks on the road, the 7-3 Nebraska baseball team is back at Haymarket Park this weekend for their opener against South Alabama. Drew Christo, Brett Sears, and Ty Horn get the starts. Game 1 of the series takes place tomorrow for a 4 p.m. first pitch and 3:30 p.m. for pregame coverage here on the HRN. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is coming up next here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, drives the ball, third defender comes, can't score it. Put back in on a tip dunk, high in the air above the cylinder, with a jam with the right hand. Jawan Gary.
Runners second and third, 2 outs. 1-2 the count. The pitch from Chambers. Cope golfs one to center and deep. Going back Delgadillo, and it's gone! 3-run home run, Emerson Cope. Make it 5-2 Nebraska.
Ryan Webb with the 3-0 pitch. Drilled into center field. Long run again for Verduzco. Onto the track. Looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Josh Caron's second home run of the night. This one a 3-run blast to right center field.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're here for our final show of the week. We'll have Husker baseball tomorrow night, so we will not have the Sports Nightly headed your way. And we get to come on after a win. Husker women got it done up in Minneapolis today. In their first round action, they beat Purdue 64-56. Kind of what we laid out last night, Jess. So we thought, Purdue might have a slight advantage early because they'll have their sea legs underneath them. And it kind of played out that way. But once Nebraska got it clicking, it was pretty dominant fourth quarter, but a big red.
Yeah, and, it just sometimes this time of year takes a little bit to get going, but also you have to just find ways to win. It doesn't have to be pretty at this point. Just find ways to win, and that's what the Huskers did. And we were talking about this the other weekend with the Rutgers game. The men didn't. It wasn't a pretty win.
No.
Sometimes that's what teams are going to do. You're throughout a tournament series, whether it be conference or NCAA, you're going to see those kinds of teams that have built their program certain ways, and they compete and they do their things that they do, right? And so you just have to outdo them on that. And so you just found a way to win. But, we talk about the scoring, and it was kind of struggle bus in the first quarter. But once they got it going, a lot of that was because they locked down defensively. That win, you got to credit what they did on the defensive end because that's what spurred a lot of it when it wasn't going offensively. Sometimes it's hard to stay locked in defensively when you're just shooting terribly.
You're right. Hard to motivate yourself to do
Yeah.
it. Third time they played them. That's not easy either to play somebody for a third time. But I thought Jazz's 3 at the gun before halftime was big. Made it a tie game, so you could sit there and Purdue could go, well, we kind of dominated first half. Oh, yeah? Well, look at the score. It's tied. So I think it was a big moment for Nebraska to have that. And then you could just kind of tell, once Nebraska kind of got a 5-6 point lead, that it was going to be pretty safe.
Yeah, it was. As much as Purdue continued to fight, it was Nebraska's game at that point, and it doesn't matter. We were saying, yeah, maybe to get some BCS style points, but doesn't always happen that way. And you got the win, and we're going to talk about this with Matt Coady coming up. But that 20th win, when you have that 20 on your record, it's so much different when you have 19 than 20 going into the NCAA tournament, and they're talking about teams in that 20 mark is like a 10 mark in football. It's just It's so monumental to have that 20. So for them to get to that 20 mark, and there's still a lot on the line, and you find a way to win and survive in advance, and then maybe you can string some wins together, and you never know what seed you're looking at going into the NCAA tournament. Certainly playing well and winning some games here this weekend will bode well for the Huskers.
Jazz with 19, 7-7. Really good line for her. Alexis had a dozen. Colin Hake came up big. She had 15 points. We're going to hear a clip later in the hour from the coach who was asked about Callan's performance in the post-game press conference. We'll have that for you coming up later on in hour 1. Jess mentioned we're going to go back to Minneapolis and hear from Matt Coady coming up here in just a couple of minutes, get his take on that. I'm sure he's still sitting there courtside. It's hard to get him out of there. He just loves to so-call that up. Right now, Penn State leading Wisconsin by a dozen. They're almost at halftime. That's the first game of the night session there. And then tomorrow, the quarterfinals, and here come the 4 teams that got byes. The double bye, they'll all jump into the fray tomorrow, and the Huskers will play one of those, being Michigan State at 2 o'clock. Our pregame coverage will begin at 1 with Matt and Jeff from the Target Center in Minneapolis. So a fun day there. If you're kind of around Lincoln right now, you might have heard the scoreboard in the stadium kind of lit up, and I'm told that they're wrapping up the mat drills today, and they're going to do the last day inside the stadium.
We should go down there.
Maybe they're done.
Maybe we can broadcast live from down there.
I don't want anybody to be tempted to put me into something. I ain't going near that.
I tried to talk Jeremiah into doing it. He said no way. He also volunteered Cole to do it.
Yeah.
I do think somebody should do it just so that we can have a better feel for what it's like.
Which, if we had to pick one of our 5 interns.
Oh, man. Probably Duke.
I was going to say Henry, but because Henry's a tennis player.
Henry or Duke? My mind went to Henry or Duke.
Yeah. Cole, you got a thought on which one would be the best guy to throw into the fray?
Honestly, it's probably me, Greg.
No,
he's a rock climber.
I know.
He's pretty active. I would think that Cole actually would be a pretty safe bet to throw in there.
We'll talk to Coach Rural. Maybe next winter we can get you on the tablet to do a day.
Sounds good.
I think we should.
I'm ready.
Have you do it too, Greg?
Oop, might fall apart, crumble out there. So yeah, I was walking up about 45 minutes ago, and the scoreboard was playing some music and stuff, and yeah, I was told earlier that they were going to wrap up the mat drills out there. Spring break starts here in a couple of days. In fact, a couple of our guys have already scattered for the next couple of days, so it's that time of year with March being here as well. So,
which I know that the guys are really excited to be done with mat drills.
I bet.
I think once you get through, it's just such a hard time, but then once you get through, I bet they woke up today and was like, yes, we made it. We made it through, because yeah, there are some hard stretches in the summer, maybe some, but this is the hardest time all year. So you make it through this, and then you come back, you get to start practicing a little bit. And I mean, they absolutely have very hard, tough workouts from here on out. But this is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And so for them, I bet they're celebrating that they made it through this time.
Well, then they get spring break, like all the students do, off, and then spring football begins on the 18th of March. That'll be their first practice, 1st of 15, culminating in the April 27th spring game at Memorial Stadium. Still tickets available for that, and I think they're getting toward the upper 40,000s mark for the spring game for tickets. So if you want to make some plans, we're not that far away. April 27th will sneak up on us before you know it. We'll keep an eye on the scoreboard. Obviously, the tournament in Minneapolis, but the Wisconsin men are playing tonight against Rutgers. Rutgers leads, it's really early, 10-6. last night, Nebraska got some help as Northwestern got beat, so it really improved Nebraska's chances of getting not only the double bye, but a real shot now of being the 3 seed.
So if Wisconsin loses tonight, it's locked up no matter what.
We're in the top 4.
We get that double bye,
yes,
no matter what happens on Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if they win, then it goes to Sunday. The good news, the Badgers have to go to Purdue. So that's where they play this weekend. Northwestern, I think, plays since Minnesota, and then the Huskers have the game. And Nebraska can control a lot of this by just going and beating Michigan.
Just going and getting a win, yep. Which is what the women had that chance to. It's just, hey, it's in your hands. Go win. If you win, it's done. But it certainly would be nice to know.
Isn't it remarkable that the two are kind of the same?
I know.
Go win a road game at the end, and you're good.
You've got that chance. But it sure would be nice to know that it was locked up before you even played that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug in Norfolk said, I would guess the women are now locked for the big dance. What are your guys' best guess for a seed?
I'm going to talk to Coatney about that. So I'll let the expert. He's the one that, we look at some of the bracketology that Charlie Cream does, and both Greesh and Coatney say that, it's great that he does it, but a lot of times it's not completely accurate. Right now, a lot of them have the women on an 8-9 seed, which we have talked a lot about on this program. That's not ideal. Not because, obviously you get in, you want to get in. But if you win, then you have a really tough second round match. And with women's basketball this year, it is clear. I think there's a big, the number 1 overall seed is South Carolina, and that would be a brutal matchup for anybody. I think they are head and shoulders better than most teams right now. But then there's a little bit of a drop off between the next 3 seeds, but then there's an even bigger drop off between the top 4 and the top 2. So I would hope that the women could get off that 8-9 seed and maybe not have to play a team like South Carolina, because if Ohio State gets a number 1 seed, then that will take one of the regions away from where Nebraska could go, because they try to keep them out of matching up in a Sweet 16.
Right.
In the second round. The Sweet 16 is that's where they don't.
Allowed.
Yes,
yeah.
But the second round. So if Nebraska can't go to Ohio State, that only leaves 3 options, and then one of those is South Carolina. I don't like those odds.
No,
I don't like those odds.
I don't either. I'm going to look back. I think in the Illinois game was an opportunity because their net was pretty good. It's like 50-ish. And then that Rutgers game. You're going to look back at those two and go, boy.
Right now, you're talking about them being a 6 or 7 seed.
I agree.
Instead of an 8 or 9. If one of those wins are...
They get
especially if the Rutgers win. The Rutgers loss is absolutely killing them. They're probably top 20 in the net had it not been for that loss. So and probably ranked in the top 20, or would have been ranked going into the Illinois game had it not been for that loss. So that loss is just absolutely killer. But I still think they're probably anywhere between maybe a 7 and a 10. And
a win tomorrow would sure help.
Yes, because Michigan State is ahead of them in everything. Yep. And Nebraska's already beat Michigan State, so you add another big win like that at the end of the season here in March in the Big Ten tournament, conference tournament, you keep on a run, then yes, it certainly would help their chances. But listen, the expert is going to dive into that here in just a few minutes.
Okay. Today was not bad because Purdue's net's not awful. So today's win on a neutral site was certainly helpful.
They had some non-conference. We were looking at that the other night when we were talking about the teams that were ahead of Nebraska. And a couple of the teams that are in the tournament, Purdue
like
actually beat.
Dayton or somebody they beat? Yes.
Dayton, and then they beat Texas A&M. And
right.
I don't know where Texas A&M, but I think Texas A&M is in the field.
They are.
They had like 2 or 3 pretty solid non-conference wins that I think certainly helped their net ranking.
Well, they're going to go home tonight and put their head on their pillow and have nightmares about the Huskers, because they're 0-3.
You heard the broadcast, though, today. They got some pretty impressive freshmen.
They do.
So that
like 3 of them that
we're
playing.
Talking about our freshmen. There might be some battles between these two groups moving forward in the future between Purdue and Nebraska.
No question. Folks, Woodhouse Auto Family, they are the sponsor of our hotline and our text line of 402-413-2400. They also are your trusted auto partner with 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to hear from the Grand Poobah of Big Ten women's announcers, Matt Coatney. He'll join us next.
Are you ready? It's
Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Husker fans, it's baseball season, and your Nebraska baseball team wants to see you at Haymarket Park. Season tickets, diamond deals, and single game tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets today and help the Huskers show everyone in the country why there is no place like Nebraska. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers. Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. We continue to talk about that big win for Nebraska women's basketball in the Big Ten tournament up in Minneapolis, 64-56 over Purdue. Survive and advance, and to chat more about it with us is the voice of Nebraska women's basketball, Matt Coatney, who joins us from Minneapolis. Coat, hey, found a way to win, right? Sometimes you just got to find ways to win this time of year.
It's not how pretty, but how many of those you get. And in March, when you get a win, you pat yourself on the back and you celebrate it for about this long, and then you realize you have another game within 24 hours. But this one was a good one. Certainly wasn't the prettiest game you'll ever see, but Amy Williams certainly seemed relieved when this one was over to advance in the tournament.
You know, when you got a lot of freshmen and just the stage that it is, and the schedule was a little bit weird, how it spaced out the games. How much do you think maybe that first quarter was just maybe knocking off the rust a little bit? You know, the shot wasn't necessarily falling, but, you know, just figuring out how to work their way through things here in the first day of the tournament.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jess. You know, Jeff Grace and I have always said, going back to our days in the Big 12, that sometimes the 5 seed has an advantage playing in that first game because they can kind of shake off that rust you were talking about. You know, Nebraska missed a bunch of shots at the end of their regular season loss at Champaign, Illinois to the Illini, and it kind of looked like the same offense here. And they kind of needed to learn to get back to moving the ball, getting post touches to Alexis Markowski. I think the key play of the game today really was the Markowski assist to Jazz Shelley to end the first half when Shelley hit a 3 at the top of the key to tie the game at 25. And I think that sent Nebraska to the locker room with not necessarily momentum, but kind of getting a weight off their shoulders like, ugh, we needed that. All right, we can go into the half tied and we can figure this out from there. But 6 assists today, a career high for Alexis Markowski. Purdue was doing everything they could to try and prevent her getting the ball. And once Alexis started kicking it out and the Huskers started hitting shots, the offense looked a lot smoother.
Yeah, they said that last night. That was the first thing they mentioned, finding a way to slow down Alexis Markowski. But for this team to find a way to do that when it wasn't, I mean, you mentioned it, she has the assist numbers, but she didn't get a double-double today, and 12 points, that's off of her, what she normally scores. But to find ways to get other people involved when they were doing everything they could to take her out of it, I mean, that's got to be a big confidence boost for the team moving forward.
Well, yeah, and it was a team effort today. You got to remember, Markowski had 21 rebounds in the win at West Lafayette just 2 weeks ago, so I'm sure Katie Geralds told her team, we're not going to let her get 21 rebounds today. So, but you look at the effort of Jazz Shelley getting 7 rebounds today, Natalie Potts getting 6 rebounds for the Huskers. And I can't say enough about Callan Hake, who comes back to her home state of Minnesota as a sophomore and really kind of got the Huskers offense going with 15 points in this game. And the charge she took in the second half against Janae Terry was a huge part of this game. Callan Hake really was a big part of this being a team effort, not just Markowski, not just Shelley, but everybody stepping up to pull out the win here today.
Are we seeing Jazz Shelley maybe a player that's realizing, hey, this is the end, and really starting to lay it all out there on the line?
Well, I think so, and I think she knows she's got her grandparents here. I looked across the floor today from my broadcast position, looking right at her grandparents who have been here for about a month out of Australia. She knows that her career is winding down today. She played in her 150th college game, so she's a veteran. You know, Jess, what a Jazz Shelley-esque game. If you were to say, tell me a game that'll just tell the story of Jazz Shelley, well, you think about 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals in 38 minutes. That is your classic Jazz Shelley kind of game. And I do think that she realizes the magnitude of, you know, we're not down to the number of games left. She's down to the number of quarters left or the number of minutes left, and she's trying to really make the most out of all of it.
I don't think she gets enough credit for her defense either. You know, there's sometimes you talk about some of the big moments that happen in games, and some of the efforts that she makes on the defensive end are the catalyst for maybe sparking some things or getting some things going offensively.
Yeah, enough people don't realize how good her footwork is on the defensive end, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jess. She's got very active hands, but maybe more than anything, she is so anticipatory on the defensive side. Her head's always on a swivel, and, she understands the game as a guard where the next pass should be. So on the defensive end, she anticipates where the next pass is coming from an opponent, as well as really anybody I've seen working on the perimeter. And she also is great underneath on backside help, being there taking a charge. But, the 7 rebounds today, they were huge. That's part of the defense also, and her defense has been exceptional.
I heard you and Grease talk about this in the pregame, but just the fact that they have so many players that they can rely on. I mean, you mentioned Callan Haken, the big day she had offensively. We've seen Logan Nisley have the big games. How does that set a team up to maybe have some success in March and in a tournament when you do have different players that can contribute in that way?
You never know who's going to have to step up. And in a tournament like this, if you want to make a run, you can't do it with just your 5 starters. First of all, you're going to get beat down. It's very rare to see a team win this tournament with somebody who plays consistently 38, 40 minutes as being the one they rely on. So Amy Williams has always liked playing a deep bench. She's done it here today. Pretty much her whole bench played today. And so today a Callan Hake steps up. I remember very well when Nebraska won the 2014 Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis, that a little-known player named Allie Havers come in the game when Michigan State decided we're going to get Jordan Hooper in foul trouble, and they did very early, and Havers had 17 points against her home state school and propelled Nebraska to a Big Ten tournament championship. Allie Havers, that was the game of her career. No one saw it coming. So it can happen. Where, someone steps up in a particular game, or maybe a tournament where Rachel Terrio was the Big Ten tournament MVP when she had 18 assists against Minnesota one time. So Amy Williams has a big, deep bench. Logan Nisley has stepped up late in the season. Natalie Potts can make a run in this tournament. Darian White came in today and gave Nebraska a big spot. And, there's a lot of kids from Minnesota here like Callan Haig, Kendall Coley, and Annika Stewart. So you're right. It can really help out in this type of game, this type of situation where Nebraska can have a team where anybody can step up and lead them, not just the people you think of.
Win number 20, how big is that on the resume when the NCAA tournament starts looking at that and, hey, you get to that 20 mark?
Well, it's huge, and it's a metric, and, it's a beauty contest in some ways, Jess. When you have the resume and you're in that room, you're like, tell me about Nebraska. Why are they going to be in the NCAA tournament or not? And if you have less than 20 wins, then the question is, okay, counselor, why do they only have in the teens number of wins? When you have 20, that kind of checks that box. And it passes the look test. 20 is a number that you expect teams to be in the NCAA tournament to get to 20 wins. Amy Williams has now done it 3 of the last 4 years, and then another year in 2018. You kind of throw the COVID year out there. It doesn't really count. But, it's a number. It looks good. It's an accomplishment. And, I'm proud of this team because of losing Allison Widener. We haven't talked a lot about that because, as the season goes along, you have the team that you have. But without Allison Widener winning 20 games, that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, especially, too, that when she went down, they were already kind of planning on her being a part, and then she plays the preseason and then goes out for them to figure out a way to do it without her. Michigan State, this is a team that Nebraska beat back in December, but they're a great team, a hot basketball team. Tell us about the matchup, how it looks this time around compared to where it was back in December.
Yeah, Michigan State was an unknown quantity, I should say, back in those days. One of the things Jeff Grease and I were talking about off air was Julia Aerolt's first team All Big Ten, and she didn't even make the starting lineup early in the season. Somebody named Iseline Alexander, who you've probably never heard of, was starting in that position and then went down to a season-ending injury. And Aerolt was a bench player under former coach Susie Merchant. Nice player, but only averaging a few points per game. Boy, she's tough to deal with. And then you take Moira Joyner, who is a classic 3 player who can come off the bounce, tough player, gets rebounds. The defense that Robin Freilich has brought into Michigan State, it's not as good as Ohio State's, but it's I think it's Ohio State Junior. They disrupt you. They dismay you. They want you to turn the ball over. So Nebraska is going to have to value each possession, and they're going to have to get good post entries down to Markowski. I think Nebraska can have an advantage on the inside, but they have to limit transition baskets. This Michigan State team will turn you over and go on the break. Theron Halleck has emerged as a very important part of Michigan State's offense. Jocelyn Tate came with Robin Freilich from her last coaching position. She is a glue player, a veteran, a 23-year-old, fifth-year player. So they've got the pieces, and Dee Dee Hageman is a guard that's hard to stay in front of. She will throw the assist, but she can also drive in and score. So they can beat you off the bounce, they can beat you with the three, and they can beat you with their defense. That's a tough team to deal with, and that's why they're a top 4 seed in this tournament. It's going to be a good one tomorrow.
Okay, so, in terms of this Nebraska, we think they're solidly in. But now you're talking about the seeding. I know still a lot has to unfold, and which, by the way, I want to have you on next week, and we can dive into that after the Big Ten tournament's done and all the speculating and all of that. That's the fun part about this time of year, right?
Sure.
But for this tournament and for the Huskers to go on a run, they still have some things that they can play for that can maybe improve their seeding in the NCAA tournament. Absolutely.
You go on a run in your conference tournament. The NCAA likes two things: teams that win and teams that win late. Mm-hmm. And if you can say, and Nebraska's now won 7 of their last 10, that looks really good on a resume. If you can make a run in the NCAA tournament, you can maybe improve a seed, maybe even 2. If Nebraska got to at least the championship game of this tournament, they might be able to sneak into a 6 seed. Again, I say there's not a lot of difference between a 7 and a 10. And don't think if Nebraska got a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament that's what the committee thinks. This year particularly, there are going to be so many host schools out west that there's not going to be enough teams to go west. So they do the G curve. My good friend Debbie Antonelli always says the geography curve, where they can move you up or down a seed line, where if they think Nebraska's a 7, they can move them to a 6 or an 8 pretty easily. If you're an 8, you go to a 9. If you're a 9, you go to a 10 pretty easily. And so that G curve factors into it. So if you can get up to a 7 by winning a couple of games here, that may put you up to a 6 to balance out the geography of the tournament. So that's one thing I think I'm looking at. I think right now Nebraska could play anywhere between a 7 and a 10. A win like they had here today, I think, puts them solidly up around an 8. And I think they can get to a 7 pretty easily. If they beat Michigan State tomorrow, I think they should be a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. And as we've talked about a lot, you got to go and you got to win that first round game. But if you do win, it's a lot better to be a 7 or a 10 than it is an 8 or a 9. Yeah, because, you're looking at, if you got to go to Columbia, South Carolina to take on Don Staley and the Gamecocks, that is like taking cyanide. And Nebraska's played down there before in the NCAA tournament. That fan base is huge. It's going to be sold out. Really, any of those number 1 seeds are going to be tough to deal with. And so, yeah, you're right. 7 and 10 is better than playing in the 8 game. No question about it.
All right. Well, appreciate your time. We'll let you get out of here. You got some prep to do for hey, that's the fun part. That's the best part. About being a play-by-play, you got to go prep for the next one because you only get 24 hours for it. So we'll let you get out of here. Have a great meal. And tell Jeff Breach we said hi. And you guys will be back on the air tomorrow for 1:30 pregame again for a 2 o'clock tip.
1 o'clock, actually.
1 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah, we're going with 1 o'clock tomorrow.
1 o'clock. All right. Well, we'll look forward to the call then. Matt Coney, appreciate your time. Great call today.
Hey, thanks, Jess.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Husker fans, the women's basketball postseason coverage starts this week with the Big Ten tournament. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Huskers radio network. Broadcast coverage starts on Thursday and will follow the Huskers as they advance through the brackets. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Thursday night. Last show for us for the week. We'll have baseball knock us off tomorrow night. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to fire off a text or a call. Let's go to the phones. Our good friend Tim in Minnesota joins us next. Good evening, Tim.
Good evening. Well, what I found especially impressive about this afternoon's win is that old adage that it's extremely hard to beat a team three times, especially those scrappy teams like Purdue. So I was thinking about how that might be an advantage for Purdue because of how hard it is to beat a team three times in the same year. But it's impressive that we were able to do that. I have one other thing, and then I'll hand it to you.
Take your time.
I usually don't get excited about stamps when they're released, but the most recent one is exciting to me because it's celebrating the life and career of John Wooden. And I know Coach Osborne has even talked about how influential John Wooden has been to him, and so that I think that's worth putting out there.
Good. Well done. All right, Tim, good to hear from you.
Tim, did you go to the game?
No, I was not able to. There's an outside chance I might get to the men's. It just kind of depends upon the tournament. Although, I'm thinking I might come down when for that. I think the baseball goes to Minnesota.
We do.
So that might be an opportunity for me there.
Early May. We're up there in early May. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to the next opportunity to see you guys.
Perfect. Tim, thank you. Good to hear from you up in the near the Twin Cities. And, yeah, try to get down there if you can get to the tournament this week or next weekend.
One of the things that Cody told me that there's pretty good Husker showing up there.
Yeah, I bet there is.
But there's a good alumni in there, pretty big alumni.
Active group. And then I think some people, particularly if they win tomorrow, that will drive up from Omaha Saturday. It's 6 hours from Omaha, get up there and go to the game on Saturday.
Good for Husker fans. Hey, they're part of that. They want to talk about Caitlin Clark and Iowa fans, but there's a pretty good chunk of Husker fans up there.
Absolutely. All right, Amy Williams met with the media following today's game, and we're going to play a couple clips for that. One of the questions she got asked was, what changed, and did you make changes after a sluggish first quarter to get the thing going?
Yeah, I thought early in the game, probably a credit to Purdue's defense, but I thought we were settling for a few too many perimeter shots, kind of quick perimeter shots. We're okay with those shots. We have great shooters that we're confident in them shooting it, but we wanted to get paint touches first and be able to work hard for the paint touches. And I thought early in the game we were maybe just playing a little frantic, taking quick shots, and we needed to kind of settle into the tournament, settle into our game, and be willing to work a little bit harder to get the ball inside, outside looks.
Yeah, I heard Megan McEwen doing a report that they said, hey, we got to get paint touches, that we've got to go inside out. This team, they're at their best. They're trying to get it to Alexis Markowski, and then if she gets double teamed, she kicks it back out. It just alleviates so much pressure. So I think they just went back to what they do. And again, as we've talked so much about, is getting settled in. You've got a lot of freshmen out there. You got a lot of players and again, the schedule of all of it, just figuring things out in this tournament setting. And you get through the first quarter and then you get it rolling after that.
We talked a lot about Alexis' first team all conference. I'm not sure we talked much about her passing. She had 6 assists today.
Yeah, it's
and
a career
she's good
high.
about that. When they double on her, she's good at finding the open shooter. Nebraska's got a bunch of them.
And even if, the hockey assists too, which I wish they credited in basketball, but there are times that a lot of times she kicks it out and then a quick swing over, and it really does. It just opens up so many other things when she's able to do that, and then they move it around. But that's when the team's at their best. They heard Natalie Potts talking about it a couple days ago. When they're playing team basketball, that's when they can really be special and put some special things together.
Callan Hake was special today. She had 15 points, 3 of 6 from behind the line. Here's the head coach talking about what a big fourth quarter Callan gave her team.
I'm so incredibly proud of Callan. She bounced back after, missing a couple of free throws at the Illinois game that I know she wanted to have. But the next morning, she was back in the gym. She was working. She was shooting. She was back at it. Our staff continues to maintain confidence in her, and then to watch her come out and just step up and make big shots, big plays. I thought there was a stretch where she scored a bucket, went down and took a critical charge, I think, on Janae Terry, and then went back down and hit another big bucket. And that stretch right there really, I think, gave us the confidence to know that we could push forth and win this game.
Good for Callan, too, to bounce back when, she had missed a couple of those free throws that were critical down the stretch at Illinois. But from Minnesota, and Callan's done a lot of that where, we've talked about her scoring and her being more of a contributor on the offensive end, but she's done a lot of things good on the defensive end as well, which this team has to do. It's kind of a lot mirrors what the men do. They have to rely on their defense, or they want to rely on their defense to open things up for their offense.
So those are some comments from the head coach after the win today. Huskers get it done 64-56. We'll play Michigan State tomorrow. Roger on our text line said, good win for the Huskers. they can get it done defensively, too. Had the game on the radio. Thought Kendall Colley got on the floor today. Kendall, I think, played 8-9 minutes today. 20th win. Love it. Go Big Red. Always take down Sparty tomorrow. Thanks, Roger the Dodger.
He actually said good win, Huskers.
Exclamation point, exclamation
yes,
point.
You forgot to include the Z's. But yeah, Kendall Colley, she's also played a good role. And there are times when she was big guarding Caitlin Clark in that win. She can disrupt things on the defensive end. That she embraces that role. But another Minnesota native.
That's
for her
right.
to be able to go up there. And I'm sure I bet a lot of the fans, too, were from some of these players that are from Minnesota.
Or North Dakota.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we got North Dakota and Minnesota girls on this team.
I think Coatney and Grease said Logan Nisley had a lot of people
I'm
up
sure.
there.
And isn't Callan from up there, too?
Callan, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not, the Twin Cities is kind of where those people love to go. All right, 402-413-2400. Keep them coming on the text line. We're back to wrap up hour one next.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at the 2024 Husker football team. Be in Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 27th for the annual Nebraska football red and white spring game presented by FNBO. Tickets are on sale now and are only $15 for adults and $5 for youth aged high school and younger. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Husker fans, the women's basketball postseason coverage starts this week with the Big Ten tournament. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Huskers radio network. Broadcast coverage starts on Thursday and will follow the Huskers as they advance through the brackets. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Thursday night. We're going to be hearing from Micaela Moore, Husker track and field athlete, terrific triple jumper. The NCAA indoor meet began today, and the Huskers have a first-team All-American, Henry Zimmerman. Finished, was it 7th in the weight throw?
I believe that's what the final was, yep.
So he congratulations to Henry. He's had a terrific indoor season. There's not very many events today, a lot more tomorrow, and then Saturday is the culmination of the 3-day event in Boston, Massachusetts. But Henry Zimmerman earns first-team All-American honors. That's really great for him. And it's been a heck of a track season. So you
and they only get better in the
They do.
outdoor. That's what's pretty scary is that they've got a lot of good athletes that are doing big things in the indoor season, but they get even more dangerous when they add some guys in the outdoor.
Well, you get the javelin, you get the discus, which you don't throw inside. So, yeah. And then women, the same thing, because a lot of those really good women throwers did not compete in the indoor. They're just going to go outdoor. But Henry placed 7th. He threw 74 feet 3 inches. He, of course, owns the top 4 marks in Nebraska school history, collected a couple of Big Ten Field Athlete of the Week honors, finished 3rd at the Big Tens a couple weeks ago, so he did really, really well. Till Steinforth, one of our favorites, will begin Nebraska's competition tomorrow in the heptathlon. So good luck to Till.
So he, and maybe a little bit strategic, he didn't compete in that at the Big Tens.
He didn't.
So I'll be
Rested his body.
fascinating to watch him compete in this. You know, he's a scooter guy. He scoots around here.
Does he?
Him and Cole are like scooter brothers.
Are they scooter buddies?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not.
So he scoots around, and he's so nice. Every time I see him, he's such a nice, genuine person, but he's a heck of an athlete. You'd have to argue he could be up there in one of the best athletes on campus. Him and Jeremiah Charles would probably be in that argument.
It sure would be. There's no question. His
and
ability.
Nash, maybe.
Yeah, different kind of a athlete, but just the power of Nash and all that. So
That'd be a fascinating debate if you want to go down who's the best athlete.
That story of him leaving the decathlon at the Big Ten outdoor and running over to do one long jump, and he wins.
And winning it, and then going back,
Come on, that's crazy.
He's unbelievable.
Absolutely crazy.
He's going to be a guy that you want to follow in the Olympics. And he probably...
Germany?
Yes,
Yeah.
but he probably won't compete. I don't know, he kind of broke it down for me, but a lot of it with the foreign athletes, they can't do as much that they need to do to be able to qualify because they're here competing in America. But maybe not this season, but the next Olympics, I guarantee you he's a name we hear at the
Hope so.
in the future.
And I'll be a big fan for him.
Oh, yeah,
Even if he's
me
not
too.
wearing the red, white, and blue, I'll be a big fan for him.
Yes, me too.
We had a question in the chat about the last time both the men and women made March Madness. It was 2014. That's the last time the men made it, period. The women were also in the tournament that year, got to the second round. They beat Fresno State, then lost to BYU 80-76 in the second round of that tournament. The year before that was that team that made it to the Sweet 16 in 2013. So there's the answer to that. And
2014, 10 years.
For the men. The long drought.
Wow.
Long drought.
But how exciting is that? And there's, we could probably go on the list, but how many teams do you think are having this conversation where they've got both their men's and women's teams in the conversation?
Probably a few more than you think.
Maybe like 20?
Probably about 20, yeah.
Which is still 20 in all of, how many teams play college basketball?
350.
And there's 20 that are sitting here having this conversation of that they're going to have both teams in the NCAA tournament.
We need to wish Crypto King a happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
He's the OG of OGs for the chat room. I believe he's 34 today, so happy 34th birthday, Crypto. We love your participation and running the chat room for us every night.
Yes, Cole, you got a birthday rendition of happy birthday for Crypto?
We'll see. Time will tell in an hour or two.
He's just really
Stick
looking
around.
forward. He's looking forward to your joke.
That's what he asked for his birthday.
So.
Is a Cole's joke of the week.
So that is yet to come, folks. Cole's joke, which I don't know where it stands right now. I'm a little nervous.
He's been off for like 6 weeks, so he better bring his A game.
Stockpiled a bunch of them. So we'll have that coming up, Micaela Moore, and we'll also talk to the good folks at Choices Treatment Center. March is Gambler's Addiction Month. We'll tell you about some tips to help you keep things under control. We'll have that for you coming up in hour number 2. Whoa, what a fast first hour. Come on back. We'll have some fun in hour 2.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Good evening. I'm Cole Hartman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier today, the Nebraska women's basketball team was in action for the second round of the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis, where they secured a 64-56 win over 12 seed Purdue. This is what head coach Amy Williams had to say after the win.
Yeah, I'm just really proud of our team for surviving and advancing, and we're excited to have the opportunity to continue to play tomorrow in the quarters. It was a little ugly game. We give a lot of credit to Purdue. We've played them for 3 times now, and we know that they are a very scrappy team that is going to make everything very, very difficult, and I thought they did a great job of that here today on their second day of playing already, and we were able to make some plays at the right moments to be able to create the separation we needed to get a win.
With the win, Nebraska advances to the quarterfinal and will match up with 4-seed Michigan State tomorrow at approximately 2 p.m. Central. Keeping with Big Ten women's hoops, 6 other teams are in action today. Earlier, 8-seed Maryland advanced with a 75-65 win over 9-seed Illinois. Currently in action, 7-seed Penn State leads 10-seed Wisconsin 66-42 with 8 minutes to go. And later tonight, 11-seed Michigan will battle 6-seed Michigan will battle 11-seed Minnesota. As the men's Big Ten regular season winds down, just 2 teams are in action tonight. Rutgers is visiting Wisconsin, and Rutgers leads 44-40 with 16 minutes to go. And finally, after 3 weeks on the road, the 7-3 Nebraska baseball team is back at Haymarket Park this weekend for their home opener against South Alabama. Drew Christo, Brett Sears, and Ty Horn are listed as the starters. Game 1 of the series takes place tomorrow for a 4 p.m. first pitch and 3:30 p.m. for pregame coverage here on the HRN. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming up next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, drives the ball, third defender comes, can't score it. Put back in on a tip dunk, high in the air above the cylinder, with a jam with the right hand. Jawan Gary.
Runners second and third, 2 outs. 1-2 the count. The pitch from Chambers. Cope golfs one to center and deep. Going back Delgadillo, and it's gone! 3-run home run, Emerson Cope. Make it 5-2 Nebraska.
Brian Webb with the 3-0 pitch. Drilled into center field. Long run again for Verduzco. Onto the track. Looking up, and it is gone! Home run, Josh Caron's second home run of the night. This one a 3-run blast to right center field.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
We're back for our final hour of the night, final hour, in fact, of the week. We do not have a show tomorrow night. As Cole mentioned in the ticker, we'll have Husker baseball on the network with a 4 o'clock start. Husker women basketball at around 2, maybe a little bit earlier than that tomorrow as they take on Michigan State. In fact, we'll have a John Henry opponent preview of that game coming up later on this hour. We're also going to hear from our good friends and partners of ours at Choices Treatment Center. March is Problem Gamblers Month, and we'll give you some tips and some hints on how to responsibly do some gambling, and then if some signs of if you or a family member or a friend of yours might be needing some help with all that. So we'll get into that coming up later on in the hour. We did also mention last hour that today was day 1 of the NCAA indoor track and field meet. Henry Zimmerman in the weight throw on the men's side finished 7th, so he's an All-American. Most of the rest of the meet will take place tomorrow, and then Saturday back in Boston. And one Husker that will be competing is Micaela Moore, who's a terrific triple jumper, won the triple jump at the Big Tens just a couple of weeks ago. And Jessica recently had a chance to sit down with Micaela.
You guys went in on the men's side as a team, one of the favorites to win a Big Ten title, and boy, after the jumps, you guys were right there. How did you guys feel overall as a team leaving the indoor championships, finishing second?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of positives that came from the meet. I know none of us are necessarily excited or happy with second place because we really felt like we had the pieces and all the people to have won the whole thing. However, that's how track and field goes. Not everybody's going to have their best day on that day. And so I think just keeping our heads up high, we know that we still have those pieces, and we feel like we're an even stronger team coming outdoors.
What is that like now? Because you've not been a part of this program, but now that you're going into these competitions and you guys are expecting to win, and that's what the expectation is now. You won a Big Ten title last spring, but now that's where it is, where it hasn't always been the case.
Yeah, I think there's a little additional pressure, but I wouldn't say that pressure is a bad thing for me. I know that just means I have to focus more on what I'm doing so that I can help the team. And so I think everybody knows that they have their own objective, and that might be to place top 8, that might be to medal, that might be to win, but at the same time we know all of our attributions contribute to that team title as well.
So you do both long jump and triple jump, but take us through, because I was just asking you before we started recording, they're not really similar, even though people might say, oh, they're both jumps, but they're pretty different.
Yeah, they are. And so long jump is more, it's a lot of big speed component, and you see a lot of people who are sprinters who can go long jump really far, but you will not see a lot of sprinters going and triple jumping far because there's a lot more control, a lot more balance, stability, and a lot of other factors that makes triple jump that much harder than long jump. However, and then also you have takeoff trajectory, and long jump you're going out, triple jump you're trying to stay flat and even. It's just a lot of moving pieces that makes them so different.
It was cool watching both competitions with the long jump and the triple jump because there were a lot of Huskers that were in the competition and that had advanced to the finals. What is that like, knowing that group, you guys are competing against each other, but you probably also know that, hey, us as a group, we're a big part of this team and what the team wants to accomplish?
Absolutely. I think that we enjoy I'd say every one of us are super competitive people, and we're battling within ourselves just so that we can say, hey, I beat you on this day. And so it's a lot of friendly competition outside of that, and I know each one of us wants the other to do better. And so if I don't win, I want one of them to win, you know? Mm-hmm. And so just building that team chemistry and making sure that we kind of reflect that onto the other aspects of the team so that they can see what we're doing over there and carry that energy throughout the rest of the competition.
So you said going into this year you wanted to really focus on the triple jump. Why was that? What went into that decision to really hone in on that?
Yeah, I think that last year I demonstrated that I had a lot of potential in it. I hit a pretty big jump last year at Baylor, and that kind of put me into a new category of triple jumping to where I was probably top 20 in the country, in the United States for that event. And so, and I wasn't practicing it all that much. And so it was like, maybe I focus on trying to get to nationals in one event first, and then we can work on my other one. And yeah.
So you finished on top of the podium. How rewarding was that, being that you did make that decision and you really put in the work on that event?
Yeah, it was super rewarding. A lot of people don't see what goes into it. They don't see the 6 a.m. practices, the throwing up, the dying from the workouts, you know. And so I think that I know that, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I know that all of our guys here, we feel like we work the hardest, and it's nice for that to pay off when we all finish on the podium. And I think that's a reflection of the work that we all put in during the off season.
So I got to ask you about the freshmen, the football guys that are doing both. And again, it just seemed like you guys had such a cool relationship, you know, how you guys were interacting throughout the competition. What have those guys been like, the addition of those guys to the jumpers?
Yeah, so I think that the world hasn't really seen much of them yet. They're extremely talented. I think that they have so much potential, and they already showed a little bit, but I think that's just scratching the surface of what they're really going to do, considering they've been here since January. They've only been here a couple months, and I think this was one of their first meets actually jumping from a full approach and not a half approach. And so they're special, and they motivate me as well, because I'm like, well, I want to do something that one day they have to chase, want something that, because I know that if I don't put a big mark on that top 10 list, they're going to come get it, And so it also pushes me to be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna put out a mark. Here you go. You got 4 years to try and get it, Of
course, speaking of Jalen Lloyd and Jeremiah Charles, how proud does it make you, too, the way that they stepped up? That was our first competing at a first time ever at the Big Ten Championships, but for them to didn't win, but they provided points for the team. How proud did that make you to see them perform that way?
That shows a lot of maturity, just to be able to get to a big stage like that and keep your composure. I mean, they're looking at a lot of other guys who have been at 6, 5 championships before, considering you have indoor, outdoor, and for them to not step down and be like, hey, I feel like I can compete with the best of them is special in itself.
So you're saying the future is bright with those two guys?
Absolutely.
Did you see Jeremiah come back on Sunday and win the dunk contest at the basketball game?
Yeah, Jeremiah also gave me a hard time. He was talking smack the whole meet, long jump. Even though I was ahead of him, he didn't let back. And he said that the whole time. He said that he's trying to beat me, and he made that clear. So
he's a confident, competitive guy.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it though. That's the type of energy that we all need in order to thrive.
I'm sure you weren't surprised then to see him take the title of the dunk contest against the other football guys.
Absolutely not. I saw a video earlier that weekend of him dunking, and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't going to be much of a competition. the way he was jumping in those videos.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, you're a team captain this year. What has that meant to you to wear the C and to be one of the leaders of this track and field program?
Yeah, being a captain is special and a blessing in itself. I've actually been fortunate enough to be a captain. This is my 4th time, actually.
Wow.
And so since I've ever started competing, and so for the coaches and my teammates to see something in me before I ever even had the chance to compete was meaningful, and it makes me not want to let my teammates down and make sure that I'm doing everything that I can in order to help them achieve their best.
To be in that leadership role over the last few years and for this track and field program, again, I know there's a lot of history there, but to go from, since I've been here, where you guys were winning a couple of years ago to where you are now, where you're ranked in the top in the country, and there are these expectations. What's that like being a part of that and just seeing that growth to where you are as a team now?
Mm-hmm. This is definitely something I didn't see our team ever getting to in my time here, just because we've come so far so fast. I think that now I see the rankings come out and I see we're number 8. I'm like, dang, just 8? Like, I'm almost offended sometimes. I'm like, we got all these different pieces and we're only 8, So I think the standard has changed. The standard has grew a lot. We went from just trying to win as many individual titles as possible to that and a team title, And now we're looking at here in the next, I'd say, 5 years or so, they're going to be contending for a national title, and that's going to be the expectation is, yeah, we want to win conference too, but our focus is on the biggest goal there is, national title.
Another thing about you, beyond just what you do on the track, you're very involved in a lot of different things here on campus. Excellent student, you're involved in the community, do a lot of different things. Why has that been important for you to take advantage of the other opportunities that come along with being a student athlete?
Yeah, I think just having a diverse perspective on life in general, and I've partaken in all these different opportunities, and it's given me so much different experience and so much knowledge that I can use in all aspects of my life, which is why I find it really important to try and explore every opportunity that comes my way.
How do you balance it all?
Ooh, that's a good question. I get this question a lot, actually. I'd say the biggest thing is just being efficient with my time, and I wake up really early. I get things done. I don't like to... Actually, this is a good one. When it comes to procrastinating, I procrastinate by doing other things that I know need to get done. And so if I know that I have to write an essay in one day, but I also know I have something else to do, I might say, hey, instead of writing this essay right now, I'll do this other thing. So at least something is getting done, and so that I'm always moving forward rather than getting nothing done,
I love that. So you've been able to do a lot of different things. What's been so far your favorite non-athlete experience? So one of the things that you've been involved in outside of sports here at Nebraska?
I would say being a part of the Chancellor's Senior Honorary, that's been cool. I was part of that last year, and now I'm an alumni because I'm a 5th year. But I got to meet the chancellor and got pretty close with him and another group of 12 students around campus that I would have never had the opportunity to meet. And we partook in a lot of different volunteering opportunities across the state. And I just had so many fun things where we got to give back to the community with that group. And it was a really special group.
What can you say about Nebraska and the ways that they provide things outside of being an athlete, but just the other opportunities, how they emphasize academics and the life skills and all the things that you guys are able to do beyond just being an athlete?
Yeah, I would say that Nebraska just does a really good job preparing their students and their student athletes in general. Say when my coach left, it could have been really easy for me to say, oh, I'm transferring because I don't have my coach here anymore. But that side alone, outside of sport, would have been something that was going to keep me here anyways, because there was just so many opportunities, so many connections that I had built, a lot of networking that goes on within Nebraska that I knew would help me in my professional life after sport.
Well, you'll do big things, whatever direction you decide to go. Well, up next for you guys, indoor national championships, which you have qualified for. How are you preparing? How are you going into that? What's the mindset, mentality as you guys go in and hope to compete and win a few national titles there?
Yeah, my mindset at least is not doing anything crazy, right? Sticking to my plan, sticking to what we've been working on all year, and consistency. That's the big thing. I know that if I can get out there and put out a big jump in the first two and secure a spot in finals, it's going to be dangerous. You know, I put in the work. I think I still have a lot left on the table to showcase, and just making sure that I give myself the opportunity in those later rounds to do that. And then also focusing on what I do well. I think a lot of people in track and field like to get to these meets and they're like, well, my start was bad, this is bad. But my thought process is focus on what I do well, make sure that's going well first, and then everything else will work itself out. Because if you don't even get that right, then the whole thing is a mess. So, yeah, just making sure that I do what I'm supposed to do and make sure that I hit my phases right, make sure that I'm hitting what I'm good at, you know.
How much confidence are you taking into it, though, knowing that, just coming off that Big Ten title?
Yeah, I think that was absolutely a confidence boost. My coach asked me yesterday, he said, are you excited? And I was like, yeah, I'm mainly excited because I feel like I'm in the mix, you know. It's not like I just got there and I'm just happy to be there or I'm okay with getting last place. No, I feel like I really have a chance to contend with everybody else, and it's going to be a good one.
Well, best of luck. We'll look forward to it. Again, it's coming up this weekend, so we'll be following along. I can't let you get out of here without asking you about the outdoor season, too. I know you're focused on the indoor national championships, but again, with all the talent you guys have, you guys got to be pretty excited about the potential of what this team could do once you guys go into the outdoor season.
Oh, yeah. Outdoors, we are strong. We add some javelin throwers. We add some other events, the 4x1, and so we are a much better team outdoors. That's super exciting, and I can't wait to hopefully win another one.
That was one of the most fascinating conversations I've had. Michaela Moore there, and it was part of a teammates Cornhusker conversation, but he wants to he's going to go to med school after he's done here and wants to be a pediatrician. He's unbelievable. So I said this last night, but the epitome of a student athlete right here. And then he's also Big Ten champion, going to go compete and hopefully be an All-American too this weekend. But he is so involved in the community and does so many leadership things, and it's just a lot of the things that you don't see that he does also here. And I love what he said about, in the day of the transfer portal, because he was a big fan of Coach Pepin. Mm-hmm. And, when things all changed, a lot of times athletes want to leave and go find somewhere, but he said, no, everything else that's provided for me here at Nebraska, I couldn't leave that with all the life skills, the academics, everything else. So he's impressive. Wish him the best luck. That's the kind of guy you root for, that you hope to have a lot of success. So he's got a big opportunity coming up. They jump on Saturday, so his competition is on Saturday.
I don't know that you've talked to a more impressive student athlete. I really don't.
I know.
Man, I'm like, is this guy 40 years old? I mean,
right?
Just the maturity.
He's
wow,
great.
Incredible. We wish him good luck in Boston over the weekend. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to talk to our good friends from Choices Treatment Center. We'll do that next.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
T&L Irrigation Company knows their way around a field and across it, into the corners, and even through storms. T&L engineers are constantly working on solutions producers need, like the new gooseneck cradle corner system attachment. It greatly improves corner span stability to tackle steep terrain and stand up to high winds. If you're looking to upgrade your corner system or add on new, call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com to learn more. T&L, like no other.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Well, here we are into March Madness, big month, and coinciding with all that is that March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And one of our great partners here at the HRN is Choices Treatment Center. We are delighted to be joined by Mike Chandra, who is the Education and Outreach Coordinator for Choices Treatment Center. And by the way, they have locations in both Lincoln and Columbus. Thank you for coming and talking on a topic that I know hits pretty close to home for you.
Absolutely, Greg. Thank you for having me here. And yes, it does hit home for me. I am a problem gambler in recovery myself. So I did my treatment through Choices Treatment Center. And the reason I'm here today is because of the great treatment I've received and my desire to enter recovery. And God willing, I've stayed in recovery now for 3.5 years.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you
on that. How big of a month is March for sports betting with all the college basketball? And then take me back just a couple of weeks to the Super Bowl. I'm sure that's a big one as well.
And that's why March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. For that reason alone, is that you're coming, think about it this way, you're coming off of the holidays, which provide a lot of stress and a lot of strain financially, emotionally for a lot of people. Then you head straight into the NFL playoffs, head straight into the Super Bowl from there, which is the biggest day of the year as far as any sort of betting, and the numbers are enormous that have been done just from one day of betting for the Super Bowl. And then you're headed straight into March Madness, and that whole month of conference tournaments going into the NCAA tournament is huge as far as betting goes as well too. Not to mention people are getting their tax returns back. It's kind of a perfect storm right now for betting activity. Mm-hmm. And for 80 to 90% of people who can do it responsibly, that's fine. That's great. And we're 100% neutral on the stance of legal gambling in the state of Nebraska. We just want the other 10 to 20% who do have struggles to have the help that they need.
Are there some signs, are there some tells that people go, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my husband, my wife need some help? Are there some tells out there?
The biggest thing I tell people is look out for lies and look out for limits or lack thereof. So if you're catching somebody you love in lies, no matter what the behavior is, if you have to lie about that behavior, then that's probably problematic in one way or another. So if you're finding, usually in a lot of cases, the money is like the last sign, which is unfortunate because that's the biggest implication, the biggest problem that can come from it is the financial implications. But if you're catching them in lies about where they've been, what they're doing, or if they're not, it comes back to limits. If they're not setting the proper limits as far as time they're staying in their bet or the amount of energy they're putting into it. I always tell people as far as limits go, if you aren't able to set limits on your time, your energy, or your money. And I always mention the time and the energy first, because that, if you can't do the time or the energy, then the money's just going to be a byproduct of that as well. So really, those are the places you start at. If you're noticing any discrepancies financially, if you're noticing any changes in either a friend or a family member asking for money or borrowing money or stressed out about money, mentioning money more, that could be a huge sign as well too. But just that behavior, the change, the emotions, the highs and the lows, there's so many different things that can go into it, but there's definitely help out there for them. And if anybody has any questions, we're here to help them as well.
Very good. Mike Chandra, again, with us from the Choices Treatment Center, locations in Lincoln and in Columbus. What's the biggest hurdle to get somebody to admit they need treatment? And you were in that boat at one point in time. What are some things that hold people back from reaching out and asking for some help?
Well, number one, people don't realize that there is free treatment in the state of Nebraska for problem gamblers. I think that's the biggest hurdle that a lot of people think, because obviously if you're in a bad position with gambling, you've probably lost a lot of money and you don't have the financial means to get treatment. Fortunately, in the state of Nebraska, through the Nebraska Gamblers Assistance Program, which is also another great partner of the Husker Athletics as well, there is free treatment for the problem gambler and their loved ones. So they can come to us. We're a GAP certified counseling center, so we can provide that free outpatient treatment for the problem gambler and their family member. That family member is huge because they're the ones that are usually going to notice, and they're the ones that are going to set up the intervention or want that person to get help. A lot of times they're the ones who struggle with the addiction more than even the person that has the actual addiction. So that's how we usually get through to people, is let them know that the treatment is free. Treatment is 100% confidential as well, too. Not everybody has to be public about their issues like I have been. You can be 100% confidential with it and get that help that you still need and work through it there. Just my job is to let people know that there's no shame in it, that there is hope and there is help. And that's what we're all about at Choices, is that we can help people get that.
Mike, let's start pointing people in the direction. If we've kind of raised a concern in somebody's eyes, where do they go? Is there a website, phone numbers? Give us that information.
So if you're outside of the Lincoln or Columbus area, I'm going to start with that. So obviously, if you're in Lincoln and Columbus area, you can reach out directly to us. But anywhere in Nebraska, 1-833-BET-OVER is the first place to go as far as a phone number. They're 24 hours a day, answered by a licensed counselor who knows what to say, how to deal with a crisis situation, or just answer any questions that you can have. So anywhere in the state of Nebraska, that 1-833-BET-OVER number is great. Now, within the Lincoln or Columbus area, anywhere in eastern Nebraska, we're happy to help as well, too. Our number is also answered 24 hours a day. It's 402-476-2300. We know that addiction doesn't work banker's hours, so neither do we.
Great points, wonderful information. Again, and folks, if you need that, if you want to text in, we'll get you that information if you missed it there. But choicestreatmentcenter.net, a great website, great resources off of that as well. Mike, thank you, first of all, for sharing your story, but also for what you're doing now. It's invaluable work that you're putting in.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate everything that we get through the Husker Athletic Network.
Fantastic. Mike Chandra is from Choices Treatment Center, one of our great partners, and again, a really well-timed message here with March being Problem Gambling Awareness Month. We got more of the show coming up next.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Husker fans, baseball season is here, and your Nebraska baseball team wants to see you at Haymarket Park. Season tickets, diamond deals, and single game tickets are available now. The Huskers welcome South Alabama this Friday, March 8th, for their home opener. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Husker fans, the women's basketball postseason coverage starts this week with the Big Ten tournament. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Huskers radio network. Broadcast coverage starts on Thursday and will follow the Huskers as they advance through the brackets. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to thank our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Auto Family, your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Thursday night. Last show of the week for us. Still have time if you want to fire off a text. 402-413-2400. Brett in Columbus says, does Nebraska have the tiebreaker over both Northwestern and Wisconsin for the double bye? There's so many different scenarios. I think the easiest thing to say is if Nebraska can beat Michigan Sunday, they'll get a double bye, regardless of what else happens to anybody.
Even if Wisconsin wins tonight and against Purdue.
Yeah. They would still have the double bye. Yeah.
So, yeah, just win and take care of business, and you've got that double bye.
Yeah. Wisconsin is going to win tonight. They were trailing a lot to Rutgers, are now up double digits at the under 4 timeout left in that game. Time now for our John Henry's opponent preview of postseason play for the Cornhuskers. Tomorrow, up next for Amy Williams' club, the Michigan State Spartans, who finished 22-7, 12-6 in the league. And this is a team Jessica, Nebraska played all the way back in early December.
Yeah, this was a big win back at the time. It was the first Big Ten win and on the road, and Michigan State was going into that game, they were leading the nation in scoring, and Nebraska gets that big win. I remember at the time it was a huge win for this team. They won 80-74 in East Lansing. So yeah, that was one of those games that you go back and you look at, and when you talk about a resume builder, that was a big win for this team, and certainly to get things going in Big Ten play. Michigan State 22-7 overall, 12-6 in conference play. So just edging out Nebraska for that 4 or 5 seed. Nebraska had a chance to clinch that. So that's how close it was between Michigan State and Nebraska in terms of how they did in the Big Ten conference. But this is a team that's ahead of Nebraska in terms of seeding in the NCAA tournament. They're projected at this point, a couple of the brackets, a 7 seed. Nebraska is on that 8-9 seed line. So this could be a big opportunity for the teams. And also Michigan State, quite a bit higher in the net, right? 8 or 9.
Low 20s.
Yes, yeah. So Nebraska's high 20s, Michigan State's low 20s.
They have won 5 straight coming into this game, so they finished hot. They had a chance in mid-February to beat Indiana, lost by 3 at Indiana. They did not beat any of the big 3. Nebraska, of course, had that win over Iowa, but resumes are very similar between these two. And as you have pointed out, if Nebraska could win tomorrow, you have 2 wins over them. You got a lot of reasons to be seated higher than they are in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. I think the biggest kind of glaring difference is when you start to look and break these 2 teams down. Well, Michigan State has a lot of older grad students, those 5th-year seniors that have taken advantage of the COVID year, that a lot of times in these tournaments, sometimes that experience really pays dividends. So they've got some graduate students, some grad seniors that are big in the lineup. 5 players average double figures, and then they've got a couple more right around that 8 line. So that it's a very balanced team. And we heard Coatney saying earlier, they a little bit try to do a little bit what Ohio State does in terms of the pressure. So Nebraska really is going to have to take care of the basketball. But when you start looking at the statistics in the Big Ten, it's crazy. They're right behind Iowa, and a lot of those statistics in terms of the offensive statistics, they are right behind them in total scoring. They actually lead the Big Ten in assist-to-turnover ratio, and they hit more than 9 threes a game. So they did not shoot the 3 well when Nebraska played them back in December. But they certainly are a team that can hit it from the outside. I will circle back to, again, that matchup, which these teams are totally different. But Jazz was a little hurt. Took her a while to get going. She was 1 for 7 from the field against Michigan State. Didn't have her best game, but the way that Jazz Shelley is playing, I think she'll have a different kind of performance against Michigan State this time around.
They don't rebound real well. That could be a big advantage for Nebraska. I think Alexis, you said, had 17 boards in the first matchup.
Yeah,
so.
Alexis dominated the boards. She had 13 points, 17 rebounds, and Nebraska as a team dominated. They won the rebounding margin by like 16. And Nebraska they have been right there, top of the Big Ten in rebounding, really wire to wire. And a big part of that is Alexis Markowski. Michigan State is not as good of a rebounding team, so certainly the battle on the boards, you probably give the edge to Nebraska there, but that's one of the things that they have to continue to do to be able to win this game. But I think ultimately they got to take care of the basketball. And when Nebraska's hitting shots, they just are a team that's really, really hard to beat. So if the 3's going down, and hopefully, again, the start today, getting some of that rust knocked off, maybe having a little bit of a sluggish start in the first quarter today, will bode well for them maybe being a little bit warmed up, whereas Michigan State, this is going to be their first game playing in the Big Ten tournament.
I think that's a huge point. I really do. It just takes teams a while to kind of get into the tournament. Nebraska's got that win under their belt. I think we saw the reverse of that today to help Purdue early. I think it's going to be Nebraska getting out on top early tomorrow. Let's hope so.
Coatney and Gresh talked a lot about that today during the broadcast. Coatney brought it up again earlier about how a lot of times when it's a 4-5 matchup and the teams are so close, it can be an advantage for the team that's already played. And so hopefully that's the case for Nebraska, that they've got their feet underneath them. They've got settled in. And, they look at the freshmen that play a lot of minutes for Nebraska. And so for them to have that experience and to get their feet wet with it and then be able to move forward and have that feel of a tournament. And, so I think – but what is interesting, though, is you talk about a team like Purdue that they've played 2 times – one time really recently. They haven't played Michigan State since December.
It's like a different season.
It's a whole new scout. And we heard Amy telling Coatney in the postgame how much this team likes to scout. They like to be prepared. They really dive into it. And so, it's probably a little bit of a different scout this time around than it was back in December. So I think this team will handle it well. And hopefully, again, having that win under the belt today will be a big advantage for the Huskers tomorrow.
Second game of the day tomorrow for the Big Red. The first game is Ohio State, the 1 seed, against Maryland, who's the 8th seed. And then the winners will match up on Saturday. So the Huskers are pregame about at 1 o'clock. Tip-off close to 2 o'clock tomorrow with Matt Coatney and Jeff Grease. That is our John Henry's opponent preview. John Henry's is the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Husker Athletics. All right, we've come to that point of the show for Cole's joke. He's warmed up and ready. We'll give it to you next.
Start Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Husker fans, the women's basketball postseason coverage starts this week with the Big Ten tournament. Your postseason coverage is presented by John Henry's, the official plumbing, HVAC, and electrical partner of Nebraska Athletics, bringing you all the action on the Huskers radio network. Broadcast coverage starts on Thursday and will follow the Huskers as they advance through the brackets. Listen online or on the air. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. A check of the scoreboard. Wisconsin's going to beat Rutgers. They're up 77-61 inside the last minute of that game. So the Badgers will go to 11-8 and get a much-needed win for them coming down the stretch. They finished their regular season at Purdue, so they've got Zach Edey's senior day to go deal with. This weekend. Northwestern plays Minnesota on the road, and the Huskers are on the road as well, taking on Michigan. And they are about to tip off the last game of the night up in Minneapolis. It's Michigan and Minnesota about to play the last game of day number 2. So this is the first time we've seen Michigan play in the tournament. Gophers were a winner last night over Rutgers.
And Michigan is on the bubble at this point. So
they cannot slip tonight.
When you talk about how many big teams getting in, this is one of those that...
Penn State kind of would have been too. They took care of their business earlier. So they rolled Wisconsin. All right, are we ready?
It's time.
It's been a long time. How long has it been since you've had has it been a month?
It's been nearly a month, but Greg, it was needed. I was experiencing burnout, but I think I'm back to full health.
Experiencing burnout?
Just from the joke, not from work or anything like that.
February 15th, by the way. So
you guys wouldn't believe how much work goes into these.
Really?
No, there's no work. The joke for tonight is that a senior citizen called her husband during his drive home. She said to him, "Herman, I just heard on the news that there's a car going the wrong way on the interstate. Please be careful." Herman said, "It's not just one car. There are hundreds of them."
That I like. Because Herman's the one going
the wrong way.
He's going the wrong way.
A little bit delayed, but I got it.
That's good. Now that one's good. That's a solid 7.5 for me.
Hey, we thought you needed at least a 7 after your time off. I actually got that one, so that's a win in itself.
I think that's well done. All right, if you have a thought, text it in, 402-413-2400. The chat room will be popping in here in just a minute.
Shane Jensen said burnout. Is that the joke?
Dennis only gave you a 5 on that.
What? Dennis.
All right. What's Art got for us? I actually got this one, Cole. I actually laughed from your joke this time instead of laughing at you. I graded an A-.
Justin gives him a 7.85. Husker and Hanover said, ha, 9. Cole's Crypto King, the birthday boy. Cole's joke for delivery equals 10. Since you did this joke for my birthday equals 10. On the funny scale equals 10. So,
happy
10s all around. Ethan, 4 hours to Lincoln, says total 9. Great work. Dries gives you an 8, and Shane gives you an 8.12.
Tim in Minnesota says 8.25. Gave you the thumbs up. Jim in Columbus says, Cole, I'm going to give you a 10. I am also a senior citizen.
So Jim's the one driving the wrong way.
Driving the wrong way. There's not just one. There's hundreds. That was well done.
That was pretty good.
Good one. You have redeemed yourself. Well done. I think he was a little nervous tonight because it's been a while since he'd been able to.
I know,
to
people have
jump
been
in.
asking about it.
I didn't have one at the start of the show.
That's right. You did tell me an hour or so ago.
So you didn't even get that by the interns.
They're not here tonight.
Right.
Oh, so you did that one solo.
That even makes it more impressive,
yeah.
I think.
That even higher the score maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I think you average out a good solid 8 from everybody's. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, tomorrow, Matt Coatney, Jeff Grease, 1 o'clock, Huskers against Michigan State. We'll have baseball. Ben and I will be out at Haymarket Park, 4 o'clock. First pitch, 3:30 for pregame coverage. I hope it doesn't snow much tonight.
It's supposed to snow?
Chance of a dusting tonight.
Excited to be back home for Haymarket.
Oh, my gosh.
And they got to think, fans got to be pretty excited to see this team back at home.
11 of the next 13 are here with just the 2 games in Wichita next week. So
Will Bolt seems to like this team.
I think he does. Yep, I think he does. Made a little tweak to this rotation as the young freshman Ty Horn's going to get a start on Sunday. So I think the fans are going to like this team. They play hard. Love talking to Rowdy Silva last night. He's maybe quickly become my favorite guy on this team. I just love his game, the way he plays, how hard he plays. I think the team will. And that's, again, it goes back to Trev, right? Trev always says, I tell our coaches all the time, you don't have to win every game, but give maximum effort and put an effort out that our fans can appreciate, and they're going to support you.
Well, I think what's been really impressive, too, is like you lose those guys that got drafted, the All-Americans, and you're like, how are they going to hit as well as they did last year? And yet you're seeing really probably maybe 1 through 9, maybe a deeper lineup.
I agree. Longer, yeah, through the lineup. So, yeah, busy day tomorrow here on the network. We'll be cranking. No show tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. We'll have Fred Hoiberg's final show of the year as they get ready for Big Tens. Hopefully we're hearing about a win over Michigan. I got a good feeling. I think they're better than Michigan. I think they should win that game on Sunday. Don't you? They're better than the Wolverines.
Yeah, they should win that game. At this point now, you're that kind of program. Yeah. You've established yourself now. You are a better team. You should go win that game. And then, I know that they love that one on the road that they had over Indiana. They want to get another one. So, yeah, you absolutely, on paper, you are the better team. You should go handle this Michigan team.
Agreed.
Regardless if it's their senior day or not, you should go get a win on the road at Michigan.
I agree. Zach from Columbus said that Rowdy Silva gives him a lot of Jackson hallmark. I agree with you. I saw Jackson. He was at the series down in Arlington. We popped in, and he has not changed a bit. He was a rascal, still is.
Dennis changed his vote.
Oh, he went to 8.5.
So went from a 5 to an 8.5.
I think he heard those scores and was like, I better up the grade. So a late grade coming in Cole's favor. That's even better. Nice. Folks, Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Have yourself a great night. For those of you out in the Panhandle in western Nebraska, be careful. I know you're getting some snow out there right now. Drive around, be careful, and keep it out there. Don't send it east to us here for the weekend. Have yourself a great weekend. Talk to you again on Monday.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. the official foundation company of the Huskers.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate, America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus 1